So it's really great to have you here on the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals Radiothon this afternoon. 784-KIDS. Once again, from our family interview area, Joni Smith.
Thank you so much. We have Tanner and Kim Novak with us. Hello. How are you guys? Good. Tanner, you're looking good, buddy. 7 years old. How you doing?
Good.
All right. And you're in second grade, third grade? How come you keep getting taller and you keep going up in these classes? You're still at Summit? Yep. Okay, who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Wapler.
Go. How you doing, Mom?
We're doing great.
Okay. We were back in the conference room. As they call it, it's really the snack room.
Exactly.
Having a little conversation, catching up on old times. We haven't been together for about a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for spending some time with us. You know, this is how you guys do it. You guys are giving back by being here this afternoon. I know you probably had other things to do, but we're so happy you're here. We already have 2 calls. We already have 2 calls that came in. 608-784-5437. Now, Tanner has a rich history. You guys have had over 7 surgery. How many?
We've had lots of hospital stays, lots of
Yeah.
surgeries. We've had 5 surgeries, and then we've been hospitalized at least 7 more times for other breathing issues, possible pneumonias. We've been transported from La Crosse to Mayo several times.
Let's start
once
at the
maybe.
beginning, in case I know Tanner's story, but there's a lot of people that may not. What started Tanner's journey here?
So we started Tanner's journey before he was even born. He in utero was diagnosed with transposition of the great vessels. So basically his heart functions differently than ours. And so we knew he would have some surgeries. And then as he was born, we saw the full picture of him. And those first couple years were really challenging. We had numerous hospital stays, several surgeries to fix his heart so it would pump and supply him with the blood that he needed. And then as part of that, you know, we have to do these life-saving surgeries. We also run into complications that kind of luck of the draw. It's what happens. Sometimes we knew they were possibilities. Sometimes they took us by surprise. So one of the complications was his pacemaker. With one of his surgeries, they ended up changing how the electrical system worked. And so now he's pacemaker dependent. He also, because of a pulmonary stenosis, will have to have surgeries multiple times throughout his lifetime. So we're not 1 and done, 2 and done. We know that these are going to come back around. We also have recently realized that there are some additional problems that we've encountered. He's got a leg length discrepancy, so his right leg is shorter than his left leg.
Did you start noticing something at home? Did you notice?
We actually were out on vacation, and all of a sudden he was limping and not walking right, and we thought maybe it was an injury. And then when we went in and looked at it closer, I kept saying, you know, it looks like it's a little bit different. It looks a little different. And so then they actually did the bone scans and realized that his right leg was shorter than his left leg.
And what is causing that?
So that was actually a byproduct of one of his surgeries, in which case the monitoring equipment that goes into his artery to monitor his heart pressure actually stopped the blood flow to his leg. And so then his body did what it was supposed to and built different pathways, but they aren't as efficient as those main arteries. And so what ended up happening was that now the blood flow goes in these different pathways, and his right leg doesn't get the same nutrients and growth as his left leg.
Do you feel like you could just go to a company and say, please make a bubble and put around Tanner? Do you?
Oh, I would love to. It would be so nice to be able to just kind of wrap him up and know that wherever he went, he'd be perfectly safe. But unfortunately, or fortunately, he is very much the typical boy that is into everything, wants to do everything. And in fact, we sometimes have those conversations and battles.
Nice skin knee, buddy.
Right?
There you go.
They're dirty too. Did you pick that up?
Yeah, well, but you know.
Yeah.
Playing dodgeball?
Nope.
Gaga ball.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
Okay.
To where you can only hit it with your hands, and you have to hit other people's feet.
So it's a new game that a lot of our schools have in their
It sounds like something
playgrounds.
that you could trip easily doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to jump over the ball, and like sometimes people do fastballs, and you could hit it off the wall, and the only double tapping and tap 2. And if you hit the wall, then you could hit it again. And if you hit another person and they block it, then you could keep hitting them. Unless they don't block it, then you can't hit it.
You know, that's sounding like a contact sport to me. And I mean, that sounds like something that
we have definitely had our fair share of injuries
discussions
off of
about
that.
trying. Yeah. What I mean, how in the world do you do that? You're at work or at home. He's at school. You've got these games going on and in Phi Ed class. I mean, how do you get the point across that he needs to be careful?
It really is a village approach. We have a lot of contact with his school and in constant communication. I mean, I get phone calls when he ends up in the nurse's office. What's going on? Do we connect it with anything? The staff at Summit is trained really well on making sure that they know what they need to do to help prevent whatever we can, and then knowing that he is that typical boy, how to react if something were to happen.
Kind of tough to tell a 7-year-old, let's just sit and be quiet. And then his friends are out doing what they're doing, and that's kind of tough.
It is. It has created some conversations and battles at home because he sees a lot of his friends wanting to play or are playing football and all those contact sports, and he can't. And so that's based off of his physician's orders, and so we do go back to having to have that safety piece. And then we get into, well, how come I can play in PE, but I can't play for one of the local organizations? And so we have to talk about how, his PE teachers are very well aware of what he can and can't do, and they modify the games to make sure that he stays safe. Whereas when we go into our typical organizations, then we're getting into tackle football, and it's more the sport versus playing for game.
Well, here's something we can do. We can get the phone number out at 608-784-KIDS. That's 5437. We're asking for calls, and the reason we're asking for it, this is the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon, and it's called Miracle Network, and I know Children's Miracle Network entered your lives. And how did that start?
Oh, they have entered our lives several times as we've needed them and different things going on. When he was little, one of the complications we ran into was a chyle leak. And so to treat that, you have to have a specialized formula that for a small can of formula is very expensive, almost $25 a can just for one single can of formula, and that wouldn't even necessarily last us a day. And so they came in, they picked up the cost of the case of that so that we could treat him and not run broke in that regard, and they paid for gas tickets and meal tickets, and they brought little toys because his brother's only 3 years older than him. So oftentimes when we were in the hospital, we had a 3-year-old with us, a 4-year-old with us, and he would get special tokens from the closets and purchasing those things, and that was great because then he felt a part of the family, because a lot of times it is about Tanner, and so trying to make that balance and create that balance with Peyton is important as well.
3 calls. We have 3 calls right now. It's 608-784-KIDS, 5437. What's next? What do you think's going to happen? What do you got on the horizon?
We aren't 100% sure in terms of his health. We go in every year and we evaluate that with our new diagnosis of scoliosis and the leg discrepancy and things like that. We're constantly, talking to the teacher or talking to the doctors and going that route, but working through that, that's important. And, we're looking to see how we can create and keep his life as normal as possible. So we're working, Children's Miracle Network is paying for a bike that is in production right now.
Oh.
So this is a bike that we are working with that is an electric assist bike, and it's actually being built locally. And they are looking at it to make sure that the thresholds of which the electromagnetics go out aren't too high so it doesn't interfere with his pacemaker. And then also making sure that it's built for a kid, which doesn't exist necessarily yet.
He gets tuckered out sometimes with physical activity?
Yep, that endurance piece is definitely tricky for him, and so we have trouble on walking field trips. We have to make sure that we have plans in place for him to be able to take breaks as needed, and as his peers continue to get older and move faster and whatnot, he has kind of stayed the same, and so making those adjustments is important.
Well, here's a new adjustment. We have 4 calls. There you go. 608-784-KIDS 5437 is the phone number. And Tanner, while we're sitting here and your mom and I are talking, how do you feel about that? Are you okay when we're talking about you?
Yep.
You're okay with that? Okay. You're feeling pretty good. Yeah? What you going to do this weekend?
Play Fortnite.
Okay. Well, your mom said, well, maybe not. We had already talked about that. Hey, Halloween's on the way. Are you gonna have a costume for Halloween?
Yep.
Could you tell me what your costume is going to be?
Ice King.
Ice King?
Where's that from?
Yeah, where's that?
Fortnite.
Fortnite. Yeah, I thought this Fortnite thing keeps coming back, doesn't it? So where do you get an Ice King costume?
Party City.
Oh, Party City. Okay.
Yeah,
so
Grandma
you already
takes
have
them
this.
shopping. Yes.
Oh, so Grandma takes care of the Halloween costumes?
Yes.
That's what grandmas are for. Mm-hmm. That's right. So trick-or-treating, who stays home to hand out the candy? Who does the trick-or-treating?
Peyton and Mom.
They stay home to hand out candy?
Mm-hmm.
And who takes you trick-or-treating?
Last year we did it with my friend Jameson
Uh-huh.
and Dad and his sister.
Okay, so the dads take you guys out, and Mom and your brother stay home. Got it. So when you're trick-or-treating, what is the candy that you hope for the most that you're going to get? Would it be like a Snickers bar because your mom's hiding one in her pocket right now? Was that not? And that's not it? I saw you tuck that in there.
Oh, yes. He has a sweet tooth overall, so I don't think there's a specific candy. Anything with sugar in it will do.
Uh-huh. Because we're kind of holding that candy bar until the end of the interview.
Yep, holding it hostage.
Holding it hostage. That's what we do. Yeah, Halloween coming up. Do you worry about things like that when he's out trick-or-treating?
You know, when I know that myself or immediate family is with him, I know that he's safe and I know that the reactions are there. I worry about, as he gets older, sleepovers and when he's out with friends. As much as I trust their parents and everything, if you haven't lived with him for that long, just the little things that I take for granted. When we go walking, when we go on vacations, I make sure I have his ID cards with him. When we go to the Brewers game, we had to have our ID cards with to make sure that we we could get through the metal detectors.
And it's just something that you don't you just don't take it for granted. You have to pre-think some of these things. You know what I think we're going to do? We're going to shoot for one more call before I let you have that Snickers bar, okay? So please make your call so Tanner can have his Snickers bar. The number is 608-784-KIDS 5437. Asking for your help. The donation to Children's Miracle Network. Helping your family still continues to help your family.
Yep, absolutely. And it's not just the monetary piece, it's the family piece that comes with it. You know, we've done so much stuff with Children's Miracle Network and the families and the connections. And, you know, we did a hero year and we're still in contact with all those families. And so it's important. It's important for the whole family.
So when Rena reached out to you and said, would you come in, I bet your answer was, sure.
It was absolutely yes. And then it was messages to the other families. Are you going in? What time are you going in? Do we have time together so we can connect with each other?
And that's the thing. You keep the connections going because there is a strong connection between you and the other families because nobody knows better trials, struggles that you go through then somebody else is also a hero family. I think we got that call we were looking for. Tanner, you're the man. There you go. Look at, there's his candy bar. Thank you very much. Hey, Tanner, will you say thank you so you can enjoy your candy bar?
Thank you.
All right. And you know what, family, seriously, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And we want to keep track of you guys, so stay in touch.
We will.
Perfect. Thanks for listening. It's the Radiothon, CMN Hospital's Radiothon. Put your money where the miracles are, a service of the La Crosse Media Group.
Thank you, Joni. Well done. Well done. All right. Tanner gets his candy bar. He's a happy man. He's a happy man. And now I got to go get one myself because it looks really good. Keep the phones going. Let's do it, man. 784-KIDS, 784-5437. Our Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin phone line still open. We're going to be here for about another 2.5 hours till 6 o'clock tonight. Back again 8 to 2 tomorrow. But Time's getting thin. Seriously, running out of time, and we've got a lot of ground we want to make up and get covered as of yet. So we need your call. You're getting ready to go in the weekend, and I know you're making the weekend plans. We've got beautiful weather out there today. You got some things you want to do yet today. You've got things you got to do tomorrow. Please take a little bit, just a wee bit of time, and squeeze in a call for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital's Radiothon. Why don't you do it right now, all right? Please do it. Appreciate it. 608-784-KIDS, 784-5437. It's brought to us today by Hot Springs Spas and Pools, and, of course, our very good friends at our Miracle Makers at Oral Surgery Clinical Lacrosse and RE/MAX First Choice on the Children's Miracle Network Hospital's Radiothon right here on Kix 106.3.